Hi there, my name is Tom Bell, and welcome to my 5 Minute Friday videocast on the 10th of January. This is a date that I cannot forget every year. It is my wedding anniversary, and today is my 38th wedding anniversary. I know I don't look old enough. I'll say that before you say it or think it. So I'm an author, I'm a business consultant, I'm an educator, I'm a speaker. And also, more recently, I've become a PhD student, and I have to say, thoroughly enjoying it. Um, One of the areas I'm looking at is something called the sociology of ignorance. I'm not going to bore you with all the details. I'm sure I'll get more into that over the year. But what's been fascinating for me this week is looking at media coverage. Yeah. So let's talk about media coverage and what the media covers. So we've had this case of the California wildfires, and we've had, I think, 10 people have lost their lives as of reports this morning, as of the 10th. Um, Thousands of homes destroyed, and it's getting so much. It's a media frenzy, isn't there? It's absolute, because we can talk about a celebrity's house that's been burnt down. In the best case, of course, we had Paris Hilton, who said she was, heartbroken by the loss of her home, her beachfront home, one of her many, I'm sure. And I'm not saying that it's not worthy of, they're not worthy of sorrow in some respect or sympathy. But, we've had in Gaza underestimates of the deaths now suggest that we've passed the 70,000 deaths mark through what can only be described as a televised and perhaps not so televised genocide. In Sudan, we have, according to 2024 reports, about 60 to 70,000 people have died of violence in Sudan. And according to the United Nations, 25,000 people are dying every day because of starvation. Can you believe that? Starvation. We're talking in the UK about giving injections to people to help them deal with obesity, because we're all sat here on our phones ordering Ubers and Big Macs for breakfast and all the rest of that crap. It's kind of crazy. It's bonkers, isn't it? But why do we think, and I wonder why we think it is that somebody's life in LA, in California, is worth more attention than somebody's elsewhere. And I guess it's our classification of others and them, isn't it? And the sort of the way we are divided up as nations and the way the media reports things. For some reason, we seem more able to identify with a celebrity in America who most of us will have absolutely nothing in common with than we do with someone who is, you know, predominantly working class, working for a living, poorer, yeah, um, in another country. There's something crackers there, isn't there? And as for America, as for the Yanks, I think this about 800 people a week are dying from gun deaths. So I'm not belittling that 10 people have died in a fire, but it's a small fraction of the number of Americans actually running around shooting each other at any given time. So why? What's the coverage that we want? Is it that we want to be titillated? We want to know, if Billy Crystal or Tom Hanks's house has burnt down. Oh my God, isn't that terrible for them? But actually, all the people who, and we don't put names to them, do we? That's the other thing, isn't it? We don't put names to them. We sometimes see the faces, and there are charity appeals and various other things. Um, I just find it incredible what the media focuses us on, because by the media focusing on it, we are focused on it. So we kind of rely on the media for our window to the world, don't we? And the internet's been incredibly useful in terms of allowing us to find more news that actually that we think is relevant to us. Yeah, we can refine the news we get. But the level of journalistic attention that goes into the what I would call the big issues, the real the real issues that are affecting the wider world and humanity in general, they're just kind of going, they're just slipping under the radar, aren't we? It's as if perhaps the media thinks we're unable to deal with them. Maybe our poor little brains can't cope with that, or that we just need to be cheered up and kept happy, and isn't everything hunky dory? Um, yeah, there's a madness about the whole thing, isn't there? Is that a bad time for me to say Happy New Year? Anyway, I suppose maybe it is, isn't it? But a Happy New Year nonetheless. To those of you who feel able to enjoy it, Happy New Year to everyone. Okay, I think that's my 5 minutes up. I'm wrestling with the thoughts there. I don't have answers, by the way. but I'm still wrestling with the thoughts there. So try and have a good 2025 if you can, as ever. Try and stay safe. If you can, try and stay solvent. That's getting increasingly difficult, isn't it? And difficult even. And try and stay sane, which I think now is probably the most difficult task facing us all, isn't it? Ciao.